Hey everybody, I'm Jack Black.
I'm Vincent.
We are Tenacious D. Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest Tenacious D record, Post-Apocalypto. Tenacious D is a comedy rock duo, of course, starring Jack Black and Kyle Gass. Jack Black, obviously the more popular of those two.
Hit film, star of hit films such as School of Rock, Journey to the Center of the Earth,
King Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong.
What other hit films is Jack Black?
Kung Fu Panda 1, 2, and 3. Gulliver's Travels.
I'm trying to think of an actual good film besides School of Rock that Jack Black's been in.
Pineapple Express.
No, that was
Orange County.
Orange County.
Yeah.
Is there any others? I feel bad for Jack. There was one that was like really.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. There's
What's that one?
More.
What's that one that's like actually?
I know.
The one where he like kills the lady.
I know.
Okay.
Be Kind Rewind.
Yeah, that's. Oh, Be Kind Rewind's actually.
I know it is. It's funny.
Okay, let's continue.
Anyway, Jack Black and Kyle Gass are a band called Tenacious D, and they released their debut album, Tenacious D, in 2001, featuring great hits such as Wonder Boy and Tribute, some really amazing songs.
That had the comedic edge to them, but it didn't sacrifice the comedic edge to, like, not make real music, I guess.
No, because they're clever songs, and they're really well-written, fun, but they're also, like, funny.
Yeah.
And then in 2006, they actually released a movie called Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny, and then their second album was released right alongside that, Pick of Destiny.
The film was it was stupid. It's fun. I enjoy it. But I think
like that's par for the course for Tenacious D.
I think it's like a true extent of like the matter or like the subjects they want to cover and like the act they want to be. But the music I thought was like really good for them because I think they just like had a tribute to rock, essentially a tribute to metal, and it seemed very like genuine. Like their love for music seemed very genuine on that.
Yeah.
Having like acts like Meatloaf appear on the record just shows that they have like this dying passion for music, especially music they listened to either when they were teenagers or kids. Just this tribute to metal I thought was very nice. Tracks like Kickapoo, tracks like one of the tracks off the CD only, the Pick of Destiny, the theme song, also their battle with Satan.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I thought they showed a lot of character on the soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack was really fun, and even though it was just music from the film, I thought it was well done. Going on to their work past that really hasn't done anything interesting. I know at one point they had a
Rise
jazz
of the
EP.
Phoenix, they had the jazz EP.
They won a Grammy at one point for like best rock performance or something like that. I just felt like they weren't really trying as hard. There's been some good moments. I think Roadie was actually a good moment from this time period. One of my favorite cuts of Rise of Phoenix, but I just don't think there was anything too special about it. It seemed like they were only making comedy rock. Which I'm not saying they need to make real music, but they can still make music that's attuned to them or attuned to a narrative.
It lost the tribute sense, I think. They went kind of off the edge of let's pay homage to some of our favorite artists, and they were just like, let's make funny music.
Yeah.
Let's make dick jokes. They're like off the edge. But Tenacious D in Post-Apocalypto, essentially like kind of the spiritual successor to Pick of Destiny, is based off of an animated web series called Tenacious D and Post-Apocalypto. Yeah. And Post-Apocalypto, this new album, is the audio version of the whole web series. The band was joined by a bunch of other members like John Kineski, John Spiker, and then of course Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters on drums.
And Nirvana. Nirvana. Tenacious D.
Foo Fighters up here. Dave Grohl is one of the most like passionate and I think good guys out in rock
he seems
right
nice.
now.
His new album's 30 minutes, 21 songs. Half these songs are skits, which isn't too far off the course from them. Their debut album had a lot of skits on it, but those skits led very narratively into the tracks and would set up each track as their own kind of like idea, whereas this sets up the skit sets up the next narrative act, essentially. The show, like the web series, basically the animatic show, essentially, which is just still images that Jack Black drew, matched with like the audio. It's about an hour long in total, and it just feels very awkward. It's very like off the tip of their tongue. They're constantly like improvising new material, And there is funny moments to it, but it doesn't work as that form, I think.
Yeah.
I just don't think... I think it's just too clunky for, like, an hour web series, and the form is off. But in this audio form, I actually had fun with this. There's a couple moments where it made me chuckle. I like the performances they're doing on this, and I like the style of writing they're doing on this. I don't think this is an album. I think this is more like an audio drama more than anything else, with some music.
Audio comedy, I would say. There's not really any drama in it.
Audio comedy with some music. And I think the performances on here are some of their best recently, because they are working with narrative lines, and they're really short too. I think it's way too heavy on the skit side for this to be considered an album, but I think this is one of their better projects. I think this is better than Rise of the Phoenix.
I would agree.
I don't consider it an album as much as I consider it something like an audio comedy, but I still had fun with it. Like, going over it, the post-apocalyptic theme, immediately from the start, you get Jack Black's passionate vocals, which has always made him like an interesting frontman to him, because he just puts so much passion behind his voice, but he also has that like vocal control, which is always good. Moments on here like Hope with their dog, just very like sentimental and stupid as they're talking about this 3-headed dog. Take Us into Space and Fuck Yo Yo Mom, where they're trying to get into space, and then only Jack Black can get into space. He's the only
Nobody else can come.
He's the only one allowed into space, so they have to leave Kyle Gass behind. But it's basically them talking at two ends of the spectrum. Jack Black having sex, but still missing Kyle. Kyle just being really sad on his own stomach as this dog that they just acquired left him. I think it's very funny. Matched with like one of the moments that just got me like in stitches, the cutoff to this, which is Kyle saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna commit suicide," just like straight off after the song ends. I just think it's one of like the funniest things that this does. Like just like how it just like takes this like absurd twist on it like that. Just like no, like 2 minutes of build up just to that, just like one punchline of sorts. But I just find it to be really funny. I like Jack Black's use of accents on this. I think even though they are stupid, like he tries to be like a Nazi at one point.
The KKK.
He's the KKK. He's the Terminator. He's some Donald Trump like character who eventually later on raps on JR rap over this trap beat, which is the best part about this, that it's a trap song and it has very shitty autotune at the end. I like it as a parody.
That's funny.
I think it could have done without the autotune, but I think it actually works as kind of like a comedy rap. I honestly really enjoyed it as like a sentimental, almost like
I thought the autotune was the best part. Because it was horrible.
Which is kind of a tone for a lot of these trap artists nowadays, not knowing the aspect of how autotune works. Some other moments, the robot song where they wouldn't work with the Terminator, so they ditched him, and the Terminator has a moment by himself where he has to come to terms with who he is. Just this dumb concept that's like done in full force of how he has to question his own humanity being this robot. Just very like absurd stuff going into the track, like the final swing of tracks, Woman Time, Save the World, and Post-Apocalypto theme replies, I think are just all fun. This narrative of this post-apocalyptic world I think is stupid. It's better in this 30-minute honed format. It's goofy, it's stupid, it's like absurd, but also kind of poorly written. There's some narrative holes that I think the show kind of clears up better, but for all in all, I had fun with this. I think this is a fun. This is a fun experience. Yes, it's stupid. Yes, it's comedy genre, but I don't know. I think it's fun. I think they show passion behind the music performance of this show. I think if they applied this to like an actual album, and ditched kind of like the narrative, or even kept the narrative part, but have it all be music, I think it would work out really well. And limited the amount of skits, I think it would be a really stellar album. I'm not disappointed in this at all. I don't think it's an album. I do think it's some of their best work to date on here. Is definitely on here. I think they need to make. I think maybe if they come through with another record, I would like to see some more ballads like Tribute and Wonder Boy, but matched with the narrative pieces like they have on here. That's all I got to say.
Cool. Yeah, I actually really liked it myself, and I would like to see them apply more of that effort back into something like the first self-titled record, because I think that record is really good. But I think like what they're doing here, I don't think is necessarily bad. Part of me wishes they would break away from kind of this like storytelling skit. Let's adapt this into an album. Let's adapt this other project that we're doing into an audio format and have lots of skits. I don't particularly like care for that, but I also think that the music present on here and the narrative is like really stupid, but it's still fun.
Yeah,
I
it
still
brings the
enjoy
best
it.
out of some of their songwriting. I think that's why it works for them. I would like to see another movie, but I don't know. I think the reason they made this is because they couldn't find funding for another movie. So,
Yeah.
or at least this idea was so like big for them that they couldn't. This post-apocalyptic landscape that they couldn't fund a movie, so they had to do animated. I hope they make another movie at some point, just because I want to see like a soundtrack from them, because I enjoyed it. I'm feeling a fun out of 10. Also a non-applicable out of 10 because this isn't an album, but I had fun with it. But if you want to hear us talk more about music, we host a weekly podcast every week on Apple Music and Spotify, which is the best of the show in audio form. Take us on the go. Links down below in the description if you want to check us out. Also, if you want to talk with us about music, you can join our Discord and meme it up all day on there. We have some good fellows you can talk with about music too. And links down below to that will also be in the description. Right now on screen, I'm going to put up Ghost because they're a metal act, and I think there's some common interest in that. So I'm going to put that on screen. But until next time, guys, I've been Vincent.
I'm Trevor.
And see you, boys.
Bye, everybody.